Hello, this is Drew from TCATactical, and I'm going to do a review on the Mora 511 knife. The knife pictured is my knife that I've had for a little over 2 years now. You'll find these knives are very popular in the bushcraft community and are great for outdoor activities, for hiking, camping, hunting, fishing, utility work. Their price point makes them a knife that you don't really have too great a concern that if you left it behind along the trail that you'd be in tears as if you'd left maybe one of the more pricier knives that are on the market. But anyway, about the knife. This is about as basic as it gets. The steel that Mora uses is a UHB 20 steel, according to my research. That steel is equivalent to our 1095 steel. And of course, one of the most famous companies to use 1095 is Ka-Bar. Ka-Bar has their proprietary Crovan treatment process, but nevertheless, there's few complaints about the quality of the steel used. The issue might be that this is a carbon steel and susceptible to rust versus stainless steel, but with a little bit of care, and as you can see, though my blade's stained, it does not have any rust on it. The hardness of the steel is about 59 or 60. It's a little bit of a clip point blade, and of course it has the Scandi grind to it, which, being from Sweden, the Scandinavian grind. I've done a slight modification. The only thing I've done to the blade was to make sure that there's a nice flat here and a good angle on the backbone of the blade so that I can throw sparks with a fire steel. The tech specs on the knife is that the knife weighs about 2.5 ounces. The sheath, without my additions, weighs about an ounce, so the total weight of the knife and the sheath is around 3.5 ounces. The overall length of the knife is 8 inches. The blade length is about 3 3/4 inches. Blade width is about 11/16 of an inch. Blade thickness is about 3/32 of an inch. It's not that thick of a blade, and the handle circumference is approximately 3 1/4 inches. This knife does not have full tank construction, and that's full tank construction in the bushcraft community and the preparedness community is always a topic of discussion. But it is a thermo molded plastic handle directly molded onto the knife. It's pretty tough. There's been YouTube videos of destruction of Mora knives, and they hold up pretty well. I haven't had an issue with this. Also, having that, I believe it's about a 3/4 tang, allowed me to put a hole through mine and add a lanyard. The knife is easy to handle. The balance is good. It feels right in the hand. I tend to like a knife that has a large handle in relation to the blade, and this does have a good sized handle. It also has a finger guard, and I believe it was the model 510, the predecessor to this, didn't have the finger guard. I like the finger guard. Many people cut them off. It's not that it's a child safety prevention. The way that I use the knife, you can use that to choke up on the knife a little bit. Also on a reverse grip, it secures the knife in your hand a little bit better. And when you're doing some fine carving tasks, it's just a little better, for me anyway, in my size hand, a little better pivot point for doing those fine tasks with. Moras are criticized for their sheaths, and they're serviceable. It's not finely tooled leather, but they do hold the knife. I've got a new Mora here. They are secure. There's a little bit of jimping here. It's got a retainment clip inside there, or a retainment method. You're not gonna, it's not gonna fall out. And that jimping, and you grip the handle, it comes out just fine. But what the highest criticism, or the most criticism, seems to be the belt loop. And not many Americans wear narrow belts like this. To go over some of my modifications to the sheath, I picked up from one of the box stores or one of the hardware stores. They had these for like 79 cents, and it's a keyring carabiner. I looped it through and turned it into a little bit of a drop sheath. I can either just hook this on a belt loop on my pants, or I can run it through the actual belt itself. I've added some 550 cord to keep handy. I keep it in place with some high-speed duct tape. I apologize for not doing a great job of whipping this together. A little bit of an issue on putting the whipping on here is that there's a slight taper to the sheath, and it seemed like sometimes, no matter how well I did the whipping, over time it would start to come loose. So I just put some tape on there, and that solved that problem. I've got some rubber bands, some more 550 cord, a Ranger band, two Ranger bands, a thicker one and a thin one, and mainly I use this knife as one of my chore knives, and it's always nice to have a pencil around to write a note down for something, another chore yet to be done. You could just as easily, and this is a pretty common modification, you could just as easily put a fire steel on the Ranger band. It's not going to go anywhere. I've been carrying stuff in the rubber band or my Ranger band, and nothing's ever fallen out. The price point on these knives, it's at a point where you can own several of them without really breaking the bank. They're good to put in a bug out bag. They're good to keep in your car or truck. They're good to keep in a tool chest. I've taken mine out on a few hunting trips, and the size of the knife, I haven't dressed an elk out with it, but we have worked on a few deer, and it's fine for meat eating game. It's fine for small game and birds. It's not all that big, but it's a good general purpose knife to have. And I hope you like this review of this knife. And if you have any comments, I look forward to seeing them at the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and take care.